Welcome to Being Free from Anxiety. My name is Emma Upton and I'm here to spill the tea on what it actually means to be able to choose to be anxiety free. When we know how to choose our thought patterns, we can find out who we're here to be, what we're here to do, and then our unique body of work that is within the codes of our DNA gets to come through. So come join me for today's episode. Cheers. So 35, and I want to talk about the underdog. This term has come up for me so many times. I see myself as an underdog. I see myself as somebody that just shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I'm just such a normal, regular person in so many ways. And yet I'm creating and shaping this life that doesn't make any sense. And I think what's really important for me is to keep coming back to this notion of, if I can do this, if I can do this, anybody gets to be able to do it. This notion of underdog is because I consider myself to be an underdog. I consider myself to be somebody that didn't know for my entire existence that I was here for more. Some people say, oh, I know my mentor says, I knew I was sitting in a classroom when I was teeny tiny, like I knew I was here for more. I didn't. I had no idea. I had no idea that I was here for more. This is why I'm so obsessed with this work, because it must be great if you know from a really young age, I'm here for something big. It's bigger than me. Like, my purpose is for something so much bigger and I'm going to figure it out. Like, that must be really reassuring. But how about the people that went for a good 30, 40, 50, I don't know how old you are, however many years old you are, and until you got to that point where you're like, there is more than this. This can't be my life. This can't be it. That notion is underlying all my work. I want to be here for those people who all of a sudden are like, the way that life is going at the moment, that's not working for me. And so I want to choose into something different, but I don't actually know how to choose into something different, but I want it. When I look for synonyms, I don't like the word underdog. I was looking for synonyms before I came on this live, but when I found the idea for this notion, I'm so passionate about the underdog. There's no cool words for it. Like, there's really horrible words for it. One of them being victim. I hate, and I'm so passionate about being a victim. Why? Because it triggers something in me, because I spent my whole life being a victim. That's why. It's like my own shit. Like, the toes there being like, oh, you see it. It's my own stuff, because it felt easier to fall back and say, oh my God, but look at all these things that have happened to me. That's why I can't. Like, living life from that space is victimhood. And I can't work with anybody that is in that mentality. I couldn't work with me back then, because I was so disempowered. I'd given my power away so much to so many other people that I didn't know how to do anything else but to be a victim. But an underdog's really different, and this is what's defining for me. When I was looking at synonyms, I'm like, oh my God, a victim is so far away from an underdog in my mind. Like, no, an underdog has been through the mill. An underdog has been through the ringer. An underdog is someone that most often the rest of society goes, no, things have happened, so many things have happened, mate. And they're like, no, like, you can't. No, just back down, stop, go back in your corner, like, go be a victim, like, that's who you are. And it's like, no, I am done living life that way. And you know the best bit? The people that I work with that have fallen into that victimhood, because it's my mirror, like, we are so similar in that we've spent time in that victimhood space and we're like, well, this isn't working. I want something different. Then we move into underdog territory. It's like, oh, but I don't want that anymore. I'm choosing something. The powerlessness that we were in that phase of our life, we have been reduced to something that is so far away from who we're actually here to be. It's like night and day. When we choose in this, like, I am an underdog and I am here to rise, and everything that I have experienced is on purpose. And you know what? I'm going to use every morsel of that to project me into everything that I am here to do. You know what I have found that has happened in my life, and when I see the people that I'm able to co-create with and be in mentorship relationships with, it's like the metaphor that I used in my post earlier today, if this is like ringing bells, go and look at that, is the idea of that you're the arrow and you're in a boat, and life has been pulling that bow back further and further back, and it's been getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and the pressure's been building, and it's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. All of that, the power and the energy and the literal kinesthetic energy that it has taken to get to that point, that's getting ready for trajectory. I am sure the reason that I have just leapt paradigm after paradigm when I'm working with mentors and they're like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? I am positive, because as I keep stepping, I'm reflecting, it's that. I was in such a hole. I was so lost in my existence on this planet. I was so out of touch with what it meant, it makes me emotional, to be a human and to connect with the power of who I am and what I'm here to do. I was so desperately disconnected from that my choice to come into this world and to say, yes, I'm an underdog. Yes, I'm not meant to be doing this. Yes, I have spent a big chunk of my life not knowing and not searching for this and living out completely out of alignment. I have done things that I am not proud of. I have made choices that I would never make now. I've been victim to things, and I've put myself into situations that were just ridiculous. And I really wish now with mindset, well, do I? But I'd have chose differently now. That's what I can definitely say. I would have chose differently now. And rather than letting the weight of that crush me into inaction and just like saying I can't and letting go of it all, now I've reclaimed it all and I've stood in this power of it all and I've said, you know what? Yes, I can. And people around me still like, no, you can't. I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. You know what? I can. That is the underdog for me. And when we're able to say, yes, I can, it is like that bow finally goes, thank God for that, and let's go. And you go, whee! And the projection is insane. So if you can relate, and if life has been coming at you, and it comes at us in different ebbs and flows, and it will never stop. It's just we become more equipped to be able to deal with it. If it has been coming at you and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, this is too big for me, I am just one person, like, I can't keep doing this, like, any of that kind of energy, yes, you can. You know why? Because you're an underdog, and the rest of the world needs you to. All of those people that are navigating and having this regular human response and reaction, which I can completely empathize with, and being like, oh, this is, and you get to be the shining example of, no, it doesn't need to be this way. Like, watch and let me tell you my story, and you're going to relate, and people are going to be like, oh, and you did it differently? Yes. And I can show you how, and it gets to be different. Like, whenever we get into those moments, which when we're in this world, when we are in this self-development world, when we're here to know that we are going out of this existence, having had the time of our life and having done everything in our humanness that is possible to mean that we become everything that we're here to be, we can look back and say, you know what? I did it, and I gave it my best shot, and this is how I did it. And people around you who can identify with that situation are going to go, well, if you can, maybe I can. That I genuinely believe that's how we change the world. I think we can all agree that the world could do with a bit of a shake-up in lots of different areas. And we have these big, vast ideas about it. I didn't know I was going here, but here I am. It doesn't change on those vast scales. It changes at the really minute levels. It changes by you and I saying, you know what? It would be so much easier to have a normal human response and fall back here and be like, this is too much. I can't, whatever it is that your brain is trying to say. And you say to yourself, you know what? I'm being an underdog here. And the story for all those other underdogs to hear me and say, well, if you can, maybe I can too. That's how we change the world. So the underdogs that choose the power, they get the next level trajectory into next level paradigms that right now your conscious brain is like, that can't be conceivable, until you're living and breathing it and you're like, oh, this is relentless, and there's no limit to it. So If you identify with that underdog energy, me too. And we've got this. There is so much more than this. Happy Surrender Sunday. Much love.